Welcome to Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring. Joel. Are you excited to watch a man who is adept at touching the hearts of young children everywhere, Logan Paul? A man who is 27 years old.
Just look that up.
Face a man who is 37 years
37?
old.
Yeah.
Boom. 10-year difference. Truly a boomers versus millennials situation. Zoomers? I don't know. I don't even know.
Gen Z.
Care. Is he Gen? Yeah. Okay. So I guess it's millennials versus Gen Z. Ooh. Suddenly I'm invested. There we go. We've found the media angle for this for the regular mainstream media to pick up and run with. So millennials versus Zoomers in woke Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Ridiculous. Perfect place for it to go down.
Well, show's over. I'm glad everyone came out. I'm glad you got your take off. Anything else you want to add?
I'm super tired. We got to
Did we say the name of the show? Did we do the thing?
Oh, I did that right off the top. I am a professional, Joel Pearl, and how dare you question my my professional capabilities? I'm gonna see you in Saudi Arabia. Oh shit! I was supposed to call a press conference first. Sorry.
And my people aren't really welcome there, so you're on your own. If you go.
Sammy gonna find a way.
Sammy ain't going, and I don't think Paul's going. Well, Paul goes. For some reason, they like Paul. I think they just like his exuberance.
Yeah. Sammy's not Jewish, is he? He's like
Sammy's not. He's Syrian.
He's just vocally critical of the.
Well, no, he's also Syrian, and Syrian people in Saudi Arabia are also another issue at odds. Another global
enemies. My God.
Anyway, hi Tim. How are you?
I'm good. We got to pray that the baby don't wake up because I'm the only one in the apartment right now. It's the last day of the Toronto International Film Festival. Did you get out to see any of that, Joel?
No, I ran a 5K this morning with my child, who also decided to forego his first nap in lieu of staying awake in the stroller and watching us go by.
Sweat. Yeah.
Pretty much. It was gnarly. Yeah, I don't make it to TIFF because honestly, I don't have an interest in TIFF. I know there are some friends who watch us and who follow Fightful who do. Some even make like an annual tradition of coming in for TIFF, and that's great. I've never been big into it. And also, like we talk about celebrity culture here all the time on the show, and it's like, take it or leave it. I'm not.
That stuff. Yeah,
meeting celebrities and stuff.
I saw Flying Lotus. We saw his movies. Not very good.
Yeah, exactly.
He seems kind of arrogant, honestly. Good composer, not good at the other stuff.
I get it.
I also saw him throw a hissy fit on stage a few years back when he did his own concert. So,
I mean, I watched Dave Mustaine once throw a guitar at his tech, so I still went back to watch him next year.
I mean, Dave Mustaine is a walking hissy fit. Like his entire all of Megadeth was created out of a hissy fit. Fit. Yeah.
Sat on a bus. No one gave me any warning. What happened to my best friend Lars? We used to talk about digging a hole in the earth and smoking hash through it.
Yeah, well, he was doing more than the hash. I think that was the problem.
Some Kind of Monster was one hell of a movie. Anyway, yeah, so this is what we do. 2 weeks ago, we had a bunch of people show up because football season was not upon us just yet. And there was a pay-per-view. Now football started, so I basically assume no one's tuning in to see us. Totally fine with that. That's perfect. That's why we do noon on Sundays, so that we get away with this shit. And on top of this, last week we took the week off for varying reasons, and we just decided not to talk about the whole CM Punk and Ace Steel versus.
You want to talk about CM Punk? Let's talk about CM Punk.
I don't, because quite frankly, tonight I'm doing Wrestling Observer Live with Andrew Zarian, so I'm sure that'll come up. But you and I, we're going back to what we talk about. We talk about the shows. We're going to preview Grand Slam. We're going to talk about that show. We're going to talk about Dynamite from the past week. We'll talk about Raw. We'll talk about SmackDown. We'll talk about Logan Paul, and we'll talk about Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. But by the way, if you're here and you're watching us live, go ahead, hit us with a thumbs up on the video. You can leave us a comment if you're in the chat. Hello, welcome, good to see you. You can subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbooked. We're at 13,700. I'd love to be at 14,000 into next month, into October. I'd love to get us to 14,000 by mid-October. Let's be realistic. You can donate a super chat to support us here at Fightful Overbooked. The super chats will be brought up right on the screen as always, and we love to see them. We love your support. We love to chat with y'all. Hello, chat. It's good to see you. And also, we have our Overbooked Discord. That's right. Sean Ross Sapp doesn't know about our Overbooked Discord, but we have one, and there's a link in the description of this video. We're here. We talk about wrestling.
Nobody tell him.
Nobody tell him, because every time someone says you should start a Fightful Select Discord, Sean's like, I don't know anything about Discords, and I'm like, Sean, we have an Overbooked Discord, and he's like, we'll see about that, and I'm like, no, here is our Overbooked Discord, and he's like, we'll see about that, and I'm like, Sean, once again, we have a Discord, and it's in Overbooked. Anyway, we have one, so go ahead and join us there. Football starts in an hour, according to Mod Mike, so good for them.
There's football. Doesn't football start at varying times, including some tomorrow? I don't know.
Well, yes, there's football on Monday nights, which is why Raw ratings tanked during the year. And then Thursdays, because now Thursday Night Football is a thing. When I do the Impact post show with Crest the Star, suddenly Thursday nights kind of suck because there's no one watching Impact.
Is this why SmackDown has the football music playing randomly?
Yeah.
How long has it been doing that?
Oh, years. They've been,
I
ever since they went back to doing live football.
Is it just because it's Fox?
Fox Sports.
But it's not a sport.
Football is a sport.
No. SmackDown has the music from football.
I'm aware, yes. Okay. But they consider wrestling a combat sport.
It's not.
It is insofar that there is athleticism involved.
It's Toxic Masculinity, the theater show. What are you talking about?
Stop it. You know that
it is absolutely not a sport.
Stop. You know that if you got into a ring, you would blow up real fast.
Yeah. I'm not saying it doesn't involve athleticism. So does all of dance. Like
so
no
dance could be on Fox Sports if they wanted to shell out the money for it. Same thing.
That's fine. It's not.
It's not, because the popularity is not as high as wrestling. Apparently,
just because it requires athletic. Anyway, there should be some competition, but there isn't. It's not real.
So speaking of not real, they're going back to Saudi Arabia. Let's just open up with this because I know it's going to be. It's been a hot button topic, and I'm actually kind of surprised. I've seen a really balanced take to it.
It hasn't been like crazy, and I think
talking about Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns was announced for Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. I think most people have come to understand that the Saudi shows are non-canon in that WWE does. That's the thing, right? They do them and then they never speak of them again. But unfortunately, everything leading up to it takes up TV time. And once that happens, you're just like, oh, we're stuck with like this. We got to build to a show that afterwards will never be spoken of. So it almost wastes a solid.
I got to tell you, despite all the drama, this feels hella like the off season right now for both of the major brands to me. Like
it's going to, because football just started. So all the interest is there.
Yeah, it sucks.
This is what it is.
Wild how deep the overlap is on it. Like it's just like a 1-to-1 ratio for audiences.
Yeah.
Which hey, I love football. Like I just can't watch. I can't watch any sport week to week. Like I struggle enough watching the wrestling week to week. Like a big baseball fan, I enjoy football. I will watch like the AFC and NFC championship games and the Super Bowl, but that is it. I don't care about the journey.
So. I get that there are people who are watching the storylines kind of play out with Logan Paul and being like, why does he get a title shot? Guess what? He's undefeated. Good enough. But in the business of things, I mean, I think this is great business for WWE. I think running it in Saudi is like your best opportunity for multiple reasons. One is from a business standpoint, they've already dropped a dump truck full of money up to your house. So half and half go to your two performers on top of the card. And then the other side is honestly like match will be good. It'll be fun. The outcome is not in question. It's just a super fight at a show where people will be happy to be there and excited to watch the show.
Yeah. As far as the they're not canon thing, like, I don't know, as long as you don't have a championship changing hands, which they did one.
They've done it. I don't mean
time, but
I mean that in broad stroke. Like I see in the chat, they're saying like the last one was kind of canon because they did Seth and Edge in the Hell in a Cell. That's fine. Like, yes, they do progress some storylines, but I'm saying like in the grand scheme of things, when that show is over, typically they don't really mention
Yeah,
it
like,
again.
and I get what you're saying, because essentially they do them, but it is a hell of a lot looser in terms of narrative. Like, they'll
Yeah.
just set up some matches and get through it and then move on. Like,
Yeah.
it does not feel, not that WWE has been very adept at running long-term stuff lately, but it's getting better, and we'll see how they handle
Slowly.
this with the new leadership. So
Have you found that watching the show has been still a pleasant experience lately?
yeah, it's still been much easier. Like, particularly Raw with its length, like, I feel like it's structured better and the narratives are more interesting. I still don't care about Judgment Day, but at least they're doing some funny stuff with it that kind of gives me some enjoyment. The Dominic, like, just the framing is hilarious, and
They have
then
sex now.
yeah, yeah, it's very, like, Rhea leaning into it is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Finn just cracks me up, and I don't know why, and I don't know if it's because he's just so damn out of place. But, like, him shouting at Edge, just reminding him who the members of the Judgment Day are, was like the dumbest thing. But it was enjoyable. Like, it's enjoyable to me in how silly it is, which is a breath of fresh air compared to how boring it was in its sterility before. Same thing with all the Austin Theory stuff. Like, I'm actually, yeah, we'll go
Yeah.
through, but
Yeah, we will talk about the stuff that we like from Raw, I'm sure, and from SmackDown for that matter, because even SmackDown this week, it wasn't terrible. It definitely had more going for it than it has in the past, because I know that's a show that's been really in need of some first aid. It's been a real slog lately to watch SmackDown week after
yes,
week.
yeah. And that I think is specifically because just they gave everything to Roman. And again, they're
Yeah.
still trying to navigate the waters with that. And it's just, it takes time to kind of write yourself out of it in a way that doesn't feel horrible. They are doing it. You can see the small things that they're doing to build for the future. But right now, like, they are still stuck with Roman having everything, which makes the entirety of SmackDown like the Roman Reigns show, which even when he's not there or on it, like, it's still the Roman Reigns show. Like, so
Yeah, and the Usos as well. And luckily, everyone's kind of fallen in love with the Sami Zayn aspect of that. And
yeah,
adding Solo Sikoa has been a good
the right
addition to the
move.
bloodline. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been helpful because again, it's not necessarily shiny new toy, but it's definitely just a fresh face to an act that it wasn't getting stale, but it was certainly like repetitive. I think people are starting to sometimes get a little down on the whole like, oh, Roman wins again, and the
Yeah,
build
and
is
we can talk
nothing.
about that with SmackDown too. But, like, I don't know. Like, Logan Paul is the perfect person to throw at him right now, in my
Yeah,
opinion. Like, for this show, there's no one better.
yeah,
Like,
and
do
they're going to put the
this.
work in. The
Yeah,
two of them are
like,
going to put the
just
work
do
in.
this. Because,
What?
like, I'm not gonna watch a Saudi show. I don't care. Like, but this is fine.
Yeah.
Like, this is the right call for that show. Absolutely. Like, I don't want to see a match that I really care about there. Like,
From a preparation standpoint, I think one thing that Logan Paul's always been really good at is getting ready for a big match, a big fight. He puts in the work. And when you have Roman, who's on a reduced schedule and doesn't have to show up or travel the globe or do as much as maybe he used to, there's time for them to meet up and put together this match effectively. There's
yeah.
plenty of time for that. So I that's why I'm more or less looking forward to the match. Yeah, it's if you're a purist who's like, my wrestling is a sport and I need to see it be acting more sports like, then no, this match is probably not going to be for you. Like, this build will not be for you.
Yeah,
But
the
very
press
much,
conference is just like, fake fight. And I was like, yes, children. Everyone knows.
yes,
Thank you.
exactly. Like, everyone knows what it is. But like, the press conference was so much fun. It was
Yeah,
just
it was.
really well done.
It was visually well composed, which I
Yes.
really appreciated, because, like, it looked good, it felt good. They had Trips come out with his little entrance, but, like, you know, I'm a businessman now. Shakes everyone's hand. You've got a pile of men on one side and all of the goal. And then you've got Logan Paul drinking what looks like chocolate milk. I assume is some stupid sponsored energy drink.
Oh yeah, that's his. That's his.
But he's got his
protein
dinky
powder
little
drink, whatever.
chocolate milk, and he's there all alone. I was like, yeah, this is funny. Like,
I love that they're trying to babyface him. Logan Paul being like, I'm here all alone, except for my girlfriend and my manager and my videographer and my security, my entourage. oh, mom and dad are over there. Hey, mom.
Yeah.
So he started listing people who were also there but backstage. And I'm like, don't, no. You're doing what I would do in this situation. You're telling the truth. Stop it. Just say you're here all on your own. And you're doing this to stand up to Roman. You're the man. That's what you're trying to do. Babyface yourself, buddy.
He can't because he's a jackass. Like, it's in his nature. It's who he is. Like,
yeah, that's right. He's like, my brother's there too. Like, oh yeah, hey Jakey. Like, oh no. Jake Paul's in the back just being like, oh, you dumb son of a bitch.
yeah.
Anyway, it was but yeah, a good press conference, really well done. I'm enjoying that they're starting to make these press conferences a thing. And listen, we've talked about this on other shows. Other press conferences, will take AEW, for example. They really operate in like this kayfabe vortex, except for the last one. We don't need to talk about the All Out press conference. But normally, AEW press conferences, Ring of Honor press conferences, they are in this kayfabe vortex where everyone who's there to ask a question kind of knows, but like wants to see if the way they word it can get something other than a kayfabe answer. Here, it's just like, this is all theater. This is just all show.
Yeah.
This is what
I like, here's what I appreciate about that. It is a different scene. Like, it's a different setting. Like, it's just a different environment to keep telling the story. And like, they should just be doing that more. Like, instead of contract signings ad nauseum, it's just a different tool that you can pull out of your belt to tell a story. Right. And you can reuse that periodically here. And like, again, it's just writing. Like, you just need a set of tools that you can draw on to structure these things, over time. Like, it shouldn't be that hard, and they shouldn't shy away from it. Like, it's just another place that they can do. They could do them on the shows for all I care. Like,
yeah,
have a bunch of phony journalists, or just give everyone comp tickets into the show and do it there. That's fine too. Like, it's just a different setting. Like, because before it literally was just like, okay, the only way we're going to advance narratives is through infinite DQs, bad contract signings, and, as we saw again on SmackDown, interrupted interviews. Like,
I didn't hate that one. That one actually,
I have some. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll get there. So let's just open up. Let's get right into Raw. Listen, I mentioned this on another show. One of the cool things that they've been doing on Raw is kind of separating the Rey Mysterio, Edge, and Judgment Day story from the Riddle and Seth storyline, almost making it like that's the 1A, that's the 1B, and they're not meeting. But this week they kind of did, because they did Riddle versus Finn Balor, which ended up being obviously a good match. Those two know how to work. Coup de grace, and Balor gets the win. So Riddle loses another one, and then Seth earlier to open up Raw was just like, I'm not giving him a rematch. So clearly we're going to get another rematch.
Yeah.
But do Extreme Rules. Do it an Extreme Rules match. I think those are the two Extreme Rules matches you need on the card. Liv and Ronda Rousey, and then Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle.
I could go with them going back to every match being a gimmick match on Extreme Rules.
No, please don't do the TNA lockdown thing.
Yeah,
no,
do it.
Geez.
Why not?
Awful.
Why not?
Awful. Oh, by the way,
why do you want it? Because I'm tired of seeing the same stupid. I see regular wrestling every single week on Raw and SmackDown.
I don't like it. Not every match needs a gimmick. That's what I think.
Then why have a pay-per-view titled Extreme Rules? Just name it something interesting again. Like,
because someone decided that that's the branding. And I agree, you can rename this stuff.
Rename it, because otherwise it should lean into the name. Like, I
see in the chat people are talking about getting rid of contract signings. I think
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, no,
I know you're not
as a tool. Like,
it is a tool to have in your back pocket. One of the cool things that they did going into the Worlds Collide show for NXT was they literally just showed at the end of an episode of NXT, in the back you had all men and women signing a contract at the table, and it was like a 3-second thing on the way out. It worked just fine.
Yeah, like I'm just saying it is one thing. Like, the problem with WWE is that they stopped using other things. They just kept doing the same things over and over again, because Vince got stuck in a loop and no one like blew on him, or anyway, no one hit him over the head to get him going.
Who's blowing on people? What?
I don't know. Don't worry.
Who's blowing people?
You need a reset.
Anyway, we have new women's tag champions who probably should have been the original women's tag champions.
That weirded me out. That weirded the hell out. One, that match was because like the whole first like hour of in-ring on Raw, it felt like no one had chemistry. Like,
yeah, I got it.
Like, they really just a lot of like bad feinted strikes, and just like, I don't know, it didn't really have a lot of the in-ring stepped up after that, but like Yeah, why were Aaliyah and Raquel champions? Like, it didn't go anywhere. They haven't used it for anything. Like,
I have a theory.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
And it really does revolve around the Sasha Naomi stuff.
Okay.
Because people are still talking about when are Sasha and Naomi coming back. You know, you've got Uncle Dave reporting that they're at any day now. They're on the roster, yada yada. They're here, but they're not ready yet, or they're not like returned officially. All this stuff. I think they just want to get people guessing, and getting people guessing means people fantasy book. And when people fantasy book, then sometimes they're watching the product and a few more eyes. And the problem is they're not burning fans like this because they're not hinting at all that Sasha and Naomi coming back on the show. Like, that's on other people's minds getting completely turned around and thinking it's happening. And I think that really, like, it started before Clash of the Castle when they said that the women's tag titles are coming back. I talked about it on this show. I said immediately, cool. So the finals are going to be Sasha and Naomi are back, or the winners are going to be confronted by Sasha and Naomi walking out in Cardiff, and it's a big pop, blah, blah, blah. They didn't do that. And then people said, okay, the finals, it's going to be whoever versus Dakota Kai and Io Sky. And then Sasha and Naomi walk out. It's like, it just kept happening where we kept talking about it. So I think this happened because they just said, well, we can get some more leverage out of this whole.
Yeah, I think they want like a legit surprise out of them, right? So in the meantime, we're going to have Sasha Banks as a 5'4" person modeling, I guess, which is surprising to me, the direction they've taken. But
and there's also, there is a story involved too, where like Raquel Rodriguez's, NXT story was that she gets a title, she can't defend it, she keeps losing it. That could be
she's new Sasha.
She's Sasha Light. So I think there's an opportunity for, well, not really. Raquel can turn on Aaliyah, which we've been talking about forever. Do that after Extreme Rules. Or
I think they're going to take their time with that, right? Because right now, I think they're, correcting some of the issues they've made. You can kind of see the hints of it on SmackDown, having Shotzi come out and turn. As lazy of a turn. Yeah, it's the right move, but it's as lazy of a turn as the original turn was, where it's just like,
but you can make that better if she cuts a promo, either digital exclusive or on the show next week, and explains what's going on.
Yeah, that's happening. I think she's also getting a tag team partner, is what I think, where I think this is going.
Oh, 100%, yes.
Because they need to rebuild the women's tag division. This is a good way with Aaliyah, who is on the shelf.
Shotzi Blackheart and Lacey Evans.
Yeah, you're going to have a legitimate like Raquel versus Bailey feud. And then they're going to build up the tag champs' next competitors with Shotzi and whoever her tag partner is. You'll probably see Shotzi and Raquel versus Io and Dakota for a bit, but it'll lead to a separate tag team, I think. So
and I agree. We're going to see what happens with the women's tag titles, but we have new tag champions, and now Damage Control can be on both brands, or really NXT as well, anytime they want. They want to make a big deal out of those three women. Not complaining. I don't think anyone is, because they're very good at wrestling and they're very good at talking. I heard some people talking about it was Wade Keller really talking about, like, is Bailey just going through the motions and not putting any passion in her promos? And I disagree with that.
Yeah, I thought she's been fine. I haven't noticed anything like.
I think it's not only is she doing really well, I think that her whole raison d'etre in this case is that she wants to put over younger, newer talent in her stable. So she is very happily going to talk up Dakota Kai and Io Sky at her own expense, because Bailey's a made woman. She's fine. Everyone
and that's the thing. Like, she is a made woman in this. She can have her singles matches with this. I don't think she needs a belt. I would like to see them run a faction where, there's a person with the tag, or a couple with the tag team championships, and then the main person is just a veteran, like someone who just knows what they're doing. I don't need to see this constant, okay, this faction is dominant and they have all the gold. Like, I don't need to see what they're doing with Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction down in NXT. Like, I don't need to see a repeat of the bloodline. Like, or wait, is Mandy Rose even the champion still?
Yeah, she is. And she just got engaged last night, by the way. Congratulations to Mandy Rose.
Care.
It's nice. Nice news is nice. Come on.
Okay, sure.
To Tino Sabatelli. So
who's that? Am I supposed to know who that person is?
Sabby and Riddick Moss used to team together in NXT.
He's a wrestler.
They both got injured. Yeah, they're both wrestlers. Okay. They both got injured within like weeks of each other. Sabby got released. Sabby went to AEW for a little bit, got a tryout. There was a whole rigmarole where, like, during COVID, people were leaking results from AEW to anyone and everyone about, what was happening at the Dark tapings, what was happening at the Rampage tapings, not Rampage, the Elevation tapings, all that stuff. And people said it was Sabby, and it wasn't Sabby.
Okay.
So he got released.
Oh my God.
Not released, but he was like blackballed. Like I think Jericho had a whole field day with it. It was a whole mess, but people assumed it was Sabby, and it wasn't Sabby. But then he got rehired by WWE in some capacity. So congratulations, Mandy Rose and Tino Sabatelli. Speaking of NXT, Johnny Gargano and Chad Gable had a banger of a match too on Raw.
Yeah,
Gargano's first match back. He looked good.
That was the turn. That's when the in-ring went like, okay, now we're doing good, and that was crazy. That was a damn good match. Gargano looked amazing. Like,
yeah, he looked great, and he himself was just like, nah, that sucked. Everyone's just like, whoa, Johnny Gargano hasn't lost a step, and Gargano's like, oh, that was awful. I hate everything.
Oh my God.
So depressed. It's like, come on, dude, you're doing all right. Don't worry.
Wow.
But you know what? If he
if I
to
wish,
be better,
if only everyone felt anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. If everyone wanted to get better at what they do, if they do it already very well, I'm fine with that. Good for him, though. Yeah. I'm really excited, though, to see Gargano kind of ascend through the main roster. I think there's a good story to be told. There's clearly an investment there. There's clearly an interest from the fans. So let's see what goes on. He's not the biggest guy, and I'm really excited to see how Triple H can navigate having a smaller guy run around the roster and rack up wins.
Going to be interesting.
What else was going on Raw? Is there anything that really we have to point out? I don't want to talk about Sonya and Bianca because
that was nothing.
It was a fine match, but nothing else happened. Omos beat the shit out of two guys, and we had a
we're treading water with Omos, aren't we? Like, what is the plan here?
We're trying. And then Edge versus Dominic Mysterio was fine. Edge wins via DQ. They're gonna just do more stuff. Yeah. Oh, Braun showing up on SmackDown. We'll talk about that because Braun on SmackDown was actually objectively hilarious.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah. So we're just building up. Edge is out for a little while. They're gonna take him off TV, do his quarterly injury angle, and then he comes back to beat up everybody. That's fine. We can do that. Hey, to donate a super chat if you're here. We love to have your support, and we love to see you. So let's keep on moving.
Is that all that happened on Raw? It feels like it went by quickly. Like, it's fine. That's
really all the stuff that I want to plug into.
Yeah.
What do you
wait. They did that stupid Miz and Mrs. thing.
Oh God, I loved it. Okay, hold on. Thank you for bringing this up, because once again, I feel the need to remind everyone. Weeks ago, what did I tell you we were going to do with this entire storyline?
Promote reality TV.
Stop it. No. What did I tell you the mixed tag match would be?
Oh, you're right. It's Indy.
Yes. I told y'all.
Indy's getting the call.
Miz and Maurice versus Index. Miz versus Index. That's where we've been going. And we've been going there for so long. And I'm so excited for that match. Whenever they do it, I don't think you could do it in Saudi Arabia. Could you imagine Indy gets sent to Saudi for her first big match? I wonder if they'll let them.
No. You're not gonna let me. You're not gonna have Maurice on TV and have her be back in Saudi Arabia. Don't you do that to us. The fans.
I would love them to do that.
Oh, thanks, Andrew. Thank you.
Yes, Andrew Zarian with the super chat. Tim, this is all for you. Don't share it with Joel. Great. I'm sure Jeremy will see this and be like, absolutely okay. Yeah. By the way, I'll be on Wrestling Observer Live with Andrew Zarian later on tonight. Go check that out. Let's move on. And yes, it's Miz versus Index. And you know what? I would do it in Saudi Arabia, because WWE can then taunt and tout that it's first time ever in Saudi Arabia, mixed tag match, but their mixed tag rules are always no intergender, stuff.
No touching.
Sorry, Arrested Development segment. No touching. Yeah. Anyway, do you want to talk SmackDown? Because then we can talk about AEW for the rest.
Well, we can talk about Dynamite because I didn't watch Rampage.
Oh, I didn't talk about. No, we're not talking about Rampage.
Yeah, thank you.
All that came out of Rampage was me saying, "Why does Chris Jericho get a title shot for the Ring of Honor title after he lost the match that was supposed to get him into a WWE Championship match?" Anyway, not WWE. Sorry, an AEW Championship match. My brain is still in WWE mode. That's why.
Yeah.
Anyway, Logan Paul comes out at the top of SmackDown, does his thing, and then says, I got a press conference tomorrow. So that's fine. We've already talked about this. I think it's going to be a fine match for Roman and Logan Paul. I do like that Logan Paul kind of interacted with the bloodline, punch Sammy in the throat.
Punch? It was more of a limp kind of motion toward,
He did the judo chop, the judo choke.
It was, I don't know if Sammy wasn't ready. I don't know whose fault that was. It wasn't good.
You just gotta punch him in the throat once in a while.
Exactly. Knuckles out. That's how you punch.
Yeah,
right?
you knuckles out. There's an episode of Frasier where Niles goes to make a fist, and Frasier's just like, "Thumb out, Niles. Thumb out." And I'm just thinking about that every time someone talks about a fight. Anyway, Sami Zayn versus Ricochet was a match that happened. It was good. I mean, Ricochet's good. Sammy's good. They can wrestle. Again, this is the Paul Levesque, let the wrestlers who can wrestle go on the show and wrestle. Because people, guess what? Enjoy wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine by me. Good match. Ricochet wins, beats Sammy, because Sammy continues to either get involved in matches where he shouldn't, or have other people get involved and cost him matches where they shouldn't. And in this case,
he did better than Paul Heyman was going to do.
Yes,
against Ricochet.
They've got a good through thread going with Sammy and Solo Sikoa and the Usos, and they're kind of mixing it up. And I'm looking forward to seeing Solo Sikoa like fake team with Sammy.
Yeah,
that's how they're going to kick him out. It's luring Sammy into this false sense of security, because now Sammy thinks he's tight with Solo and not with the Usos. They're going to be best friends. And then the Usos and Solo are going to kick him and be like, you're not in the bloodline. Get out of here.
Family.
Yeah. It's
speed
all about
off
family.
in their sports cars.
I was going to say Vin Diesel does his, he shows up for a cameo. So that's what I can say. And then Logan Paul comes out and he's just like, why wasn't I in this movie? Anyway, so that's kind of what I see. Madcap Moss and Solo Sikoa had a good match for the NXT North American Championship. First of all, Madcap Moss should be champion of everything. I know you're waiting for the graphic. I've got this one.
There we go.
I got this one. I don't know the other one.
Where's the NA one?
I know. Where did the other one go? I'm behind. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh well.
Well, the Intercontinental Championship.
Someone pointed out that his attire is the default like creator wrestler attire, which is hilarious.
It's the Young Lion attire. There it is.
There we go. Yeah.
I'm gonna make a new one where he's got all the titles. And they're like popping out of the back of him. It's gonna be good.
Just like make one of them his mouth and then two his eyes.
Anyway, we'll get there one day. I'm manifesting this, or this, or this.
Oh my god!
But mostly this. Anyway, Madcap didn't win the match, but it was so good. Too many of these is true.
Title belts, I agree. Yeah.
Drew on Friday was just like, someone make one of those renders for Joel. I'm like, who the hell do you think has been making these renders? It's been me. Yeah. I've been photoshopping this shit out of this. Anyway,
also, what's up with the word render in the wrestling language for this? Because it's inaccurate and it's funny as hell. Like, I don't know how this became the parlance of graphic design, but it's just like misunderstand. Anyway, it's very funny to me. That's not the right word. It's just a Photoshop, a graphic, an image. Like,
it is. They should absolutely call it a render. It's an image rendering. It's a rendering of an image of a superstar.
Yeah, exactly.
It became a Reddit meme.
Yeah, they specifically think that it's like any transparent background like image is just called a render, which anyway, it's weird.
Yeah, anything that's a PNG or a PSD, they just call it a render, and I think it's hilarious. I have an entire folder of like wrestling renders, just PNGs of wrestlers. So I just call it the renders folder. If people are like, "What is wrong with you?"
It is, yeah. You're just it is what it is. We're language is fluid. It's fine.
Yes,
it's just
exactly.
funny to me because it's not correct.
Max and Maxine Dupri are in the back, and this is my favorite segment of the night for two reasons. One is just the Max being like, "We're just down the road from L.A." And then he breaks out of it and he comes back to the promo. And I thought it was great. Earlier last week, they did a Smackdown digital exclusive where he says something about, bringing the darkest is dawn before the night, or bringing back the night, and then going, yeah, and then walking away. So like they're teasing it. They're going to do it. And everyone who knows is just super stoked. And then they bring out Marseille and Mansoir and they do the Schoolboy collection. And holy shit, how much fun was that?
It was a lot of fun. It was very funny.
Yes. And Michael Cole's like, didn't school start like a month ago? And Canadians are just like, oh, this is perfect. School started like a week ago.
Yeah. Perfect timing.
And then Braun Strowman comes out and he motors through both men, beats the shit out of them. And then Chad Gable.
Why though? Why? What's the underlying message there? Is that Braun Strowman? Anyway,
Braun Strowman's trying to get revenge for Nicholas.
Honestly, oh my god. Honestly, the only thing I could do during the Braun segment was stare at his septum piercing. So
yeah, what's with that?
I don't know, because he's trying to hide it, which like you can do with the septum ring, but not when you're shot from below. Like, don't turn it sideways. Just wear it proudly or don't wear it at all.
Look like a bull.
Yeah,
look like a steer. Surprised he doesn't. His nipple piercings aren't wide out there.
Yeah, do that too. Let's bring back Neo Albert. You know, I'm down with it.
Albert's too busy running a PC. Okay.
Yeah, so let this guy be Albert.
It's the new Albert.
Yeah.
Braun Albert.
Braun Albert. That's got a ring to it, you know?
It's true. Albert Strowman sounds like a baseball star.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Oh God. Yeah, he had that warlord haircut for Control Your Narrative. Mod Mike's talking about it.
It's good. Like this was a fun segment. He came out. He barreled over.
Yeah.
Marseille Mansoir.
And next week they're doing Otis versus Braun, and I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a good beefy guy match.
Awesome. Yeah,
let's do that. Let's move on. Bailey versus Raquel happened, and then we talked about, the big news being that Shotzi's back. No tank, but the tank is coming.
Yeah, I mean the turns happened, and how else are you just gonna kind of wash the bad taste of that heel turn out of your mouth? But give her the tank, because like, here's the thing: I don't know that she's gonna save this with a promo, so just give her the tank, because like I've seen her promos. Like,
what a way to start Hispanic Heritage Month. Bailey, who by the way, her name, her government name is Pamela Martinez. Like, she is Latina, but she's not Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
So what do you do for Hispanic History Month? You have Raquel Rodriguez eat the pin. So okay. Anyway, just a funny little thing. It's not serious. It's
no, God, no.
God, let's talk about
not an actual critique.
Yeah, Kayla Braxton sits down with Ronda Rousey, and
they tout it up. They build it. We sit down interview with Ronda Rousey coming up next. Here it comes.
This is the most likable Ronda Rousey has been for me in months, and I'm fine with it. She said a whole lot of stuff, and then Liv Morgan shows up, and next thing you know, Rousey's like, I don't respect you, Liv Morgan. And Liv Morgan's like, no, you don't respect me. And then they decided that they're going to do an Extreme Rules match, and Rousey's like, it's your funeral.
Yep. It was well written. Overall, again, Liv is better. I think her eyelashes are actually extremely, like, they're working against her when she's giving promos, because they cover like they mask a lot of her face, which causes like some of the emotion of it to not get through as well, I find. So I think if she just dialed that back a little bit, it might help, because her actual promo delivery has improved. Like, this segment was, again, it's been better. So same with Ronda. Like, it's improved.
I see Mod Mike is asking, with this show on Extreme Rules, with this title match on Extreme Rules and no Roman match, is this the main event? And yeah, I think that Rousey is being built to be the main eventer when Roman's not around. So I could easily see this be it. Thing is, one of two things has to happen. Either Liv has to do something so heinous at the end of the show that you go off the air and it looks great, or Rousey's going to rout Liv Morgan and get the win, and it'll be like a really shocking victory, and you go off the air with people being like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
Because there's no way that you can have like a serious match between these two where people are looking at this as like, this is the main event. It's got to be like Rousey beats her so bad in the main event that people are talking about how bad she beats Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I want it to end with at least someone being like, they're already dead. Like,
and if it's not that, it's going to be Cross and Drew.
Yes,
that's like there's nothing else I can think of, unless they do a US championship match with Bobby Lashley that's like so big, like another Seth Rollins match. I don't think we're doing that, because I think we're doing Seth and Riddle again. That could be a main event if you have the right stipulation attached to it. Could be the
match king, Seth Rollins.
Cody Rhodes on a pole match,
Oh my God, poor Cody.
Anyway, We talked about Solo and Madcap. Talked about the 4-way number 1 contenders match. The only thing that really shocked me is that the championship match is next week on SmackDown, not at the pay-per-view.
So it didn't shock me when they had them win. I don't know what the plan is here, though. Like,
Holland and Butch lose, or they redo the match
yeah,
at Extreme Rules.
I don't know. Like, because again, like, why those two? And I mean, no one was a good candidate. Like, there's no story for any of them. With the problem is, again, like, this one faction has all the gold, and it feels like impenetrable at this point. Like, I don't know what to do to fix this, because like, you can't have the Usos drop the titles. I feel like you can't have people drop titles in this faction specifically until you're ready to start having everyone drop the titles. And I don't even think we're there yet with Sammy. And I think like, people keep joking about that 24/7 thing. That is like the it's a genius way of wrapping up a bunch of loose threads. I don't know that we're going to.
They're not going to do it.
Like, yeah.
So many people are talking. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to take off my Vince McMahon brain for a second,
because that's you can't say Vince. Like, it wouldn't have happened under Vince, but like,
Vince would have been like, no, fuck them. Instead, Triple H is just more like, maybe we can do this. I just let me get 8 hours of sleep first, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, because that's funny. Yeah, it's just the thing is, like, you're not seeing the 24/7 crew so much anymore. I don't even know who has the belt. It's still Dana.
Yeah, and they keep doing stuff on the house shows, but they're just not counting it.
Exactly, which is like, that's not can't. That's not sustainable. You don't see Reggie. Reggie's gone.
Poor Reggie.
Like, he's got nothing. He's sitting in catering, just being like.
Sad boy Reg.
But like, this would be an elegant way to, tell an interesting story and throw a title in the garbage.
In the garbage, Sammy.
Because that's what I'm saying happens is Sammy gets that stupid belt. He parades it around as if he's on equal footing with everyone else in the bloodline. They get tired of it. They turn on him, and then they literally throw his title in the garbage. Like,
yeah. Anyway. Let's talk about AEW. We don't have a ton of time left because we do have a hard out. We've got some stuff going on. I really enjoyed this week's Dynamite. I was really happy. I did. They did a couple of things that we've talked about on the show that would really enhance my experience. One of the two things was they opened up hot and they closed hot with matches that actually
the matches in ring were boom.
Like, and they had set up promos. They did backstagers. I think there was a pretty good balance of trying to at least set things up in a way that wasn't just like, we told you about it on social media, now we're going to do the match. Like, they breathed a little bit more this week, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, and that, like, groundwork for that was laid last week too, which I think was a better show. But like, this week, strong. Sammy and Mox, like, fantastic. Danielson and Jericho, fantastic. Like, that was really strong. How do you know how long this injury to Punk would keep him out? Suspension crap aside,
6 to 8 months is what's being reported, and I think it's many people have said it, and I agree, it's a blessing in disguise for Punk.
Because if you're doing this stupid tournament, I don't want to see his face for 6 months. Like,
and on top of that, regardless of an investigation, if Punk's out with an injury like this,
all that aside, like,
this is time for him to go and cool down. Hopefully, he talked about being depressed in his scrum after his foot injury, and I think that sucks. I think it's tough if you're an athlete and you're injured and you're at your prime and you just won a championship and that's how you get injured, by stage diving. As stupid as it is, you feel bad for someone who's like beating themselves up over it. I hope Punk has a recovery that's eventful and gives him time to think and gives him time to really reflect on things that he said and ways that he feels, that he comes back and has a good run. I don't love the guy. I don't. I think he's not shown
himself to be me, man. I don't know. I think he's solid. Unearned. Like,
I think he's solid. I think he has, he has his fans and he has his star power. Whatever you think of him, he draws certain eyes, and that's fine. Yeah. But that said, 6 to 8 months gives you a lot of time to breathe. Gives you a lot of time to think about what you want to do next, because he could very well say, "I'm healed up, but I'm done. I don't want to come back."
Yeah.
And that's it.
That could be it, but which is fine. But I also like, if we're doing this tournament, I don't want to see a unification or a undisputed match for 6 months, because it all happened too quickly. Like, it's a mess.
I very, very much believe that the pivot has been doing something Danielson, Mox, and MJF, and then hopefully building Wardlow again. They're not doing a good job of it right now, but I will give it time.
Boy, howdy they aren't.
Okay,
Tony
we'll
needs
talk about
jiggling
it.
his titties. That's what we're doing. That's what I'm supposed to get real excited about. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
So MJF cuts a promo. He introduces Stokely and his group. They call themselves the Firm. Great throwback. I enjoy it.
The first faction on retainer.
And it's not bad.
Not
I
a
didn't
fan.
hate that.
I'm
I
not a fan
loved
of it.
the Morrissey thing.
That was funny. Yes.
I'm wondering if the Morrissey thing was just them kind of cracking wise at TK hugging wrestlers at press conferences.
It could be, yeah.
Because
here's the thing. I liked that. I still don't know. Stokely feels weird in AEW to me. I felt that this segment went way too long. I didn't need an explanation about all of your connections because I don't care, because I watched you hand out business cards. And again, you're still with Jade and stuff, and it's like it's a mess.
Yeah. And yeah, chat, we know there's no interim champion, but that doesn't mean that someone can't like show up and be like, I was the champion before you.
Wait, who's okay? So
this is not an interim championship.
This is not interim. Oh,
no, this is not.
So CM Punk has been stripped of the belt. Got it.
Yes. The trios champions were stripped of the title, and so was Punk.
Oh, that's really shitty.
So the trios thing is a whole other can of worms.
That's a whole mess
because they had their first champions crowned, and TK loves to build from his first champions, which is, that's the way you do it. Unfortunately, his first champions got stripped the titles. So he puts them on what I assume would have been his next champions a lot closer and a lot faster than planned. And the next thing you know, they have to kind of kill a lot of time because I think they're waiting for Kenny and the Bucks to go off suspension.
Yeah. Okay. So so they need to finish the investigation. That's a fair shout about the interim thing. But yeah, I also don't want to see that promo. I don't want to see someone come back and be like, I never lost the belt. Like, I don't need to see that for 6 months.
Yeah, no, and you won't see that.
Yeah,
You'll see the trios champions come back when they're off suspension and just be like, we want our titles back, and this is how we'll get them. Like, it won't be an interim thing.
That's fine. Everything with Death Triangle is confusing to me right now. Like, why did Orange Cassidy, him being Orange Cassidy, strike Pac?
Because he wants the All Atlantic Championship, and Pac is like, no, you don't get it.
Okay, I don't understand what Orange Cassidy is anymore.
That's been a problem with Orange Cassidy for a while. Like, he's the guy that TK gives a bunch of wins to and can't win the big one.
You can't be a serious wrestler. Anyway, just pick a lane.
You can. It's all about how you're booked. It's just that they're not exactly booking him. They're booking him cyclically, cyclically. Where every time he needs to be built up, they give him a ton of matches and wins on Dark, Elevation, Rampage, wherever. On Dynamite, they'll give him 2 wins, and then they'll give him a big match where he inevitably loses.
Yeah.
And that sucks. I think that needs to be broken. That whole booking process needs to be broken. But I like that they're trying to give him an edge versus Pac.
I just wanted
blindsiding him
more
doesn't
sense.
normally happen.
I need words to back that up. I need an explanation. Hopefully we get it next week. Because I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. So without going too far into the MJF promo, I just kind of I liked it, but
it was short. It was short this week, right?
MJF just it was long. It just felt long. The MJF promo, the screaming.
Yeah,
I didn't like the screaming.
He did shout at everyone a lot.
I didn't need that. I like MJF's promos. I just don't think that he needs to do that. Like, he doesn't need to come out and scream every time someone says a nice thing that's off camera. Like, we love you, MJF. Shut the fuck up.
Okay, and I think I just wasn't paying enough attention to Dynamite. Like,
I've been there.
I don't know. I wasn't. I don't. These stories aren't engaging me. Like, I'll tell you that much. Like, clearly they're giving me them, but I'm just not paying attention. Like, my eyes are glazing over and I'm tuning out because
a lot of stuff in the middle has just been not great. But again, I enjoyed watching the show for the wrestling itself, right? The wrestling is strong.
Yeah, the in-ring has been fantastic. It's just,
like Lucha Bros versus Swerve and Glory. Great match. Did it need to happen? No, I don't think your trios champion should be given a World Tag Team Championship match right away.
It was weird.
I think they could have done something else, but here we are. Same thing with the interim women's champion being in a tag match where she gets pinned. I don't think that needs to happen, but the story isn't about Toni Storm. Again, the story is about Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter.
Which, again, man, that wasn't a good match. And that wasn't a good finish. Like, the slow plodding pace and the bat, it's just there's no timing with them. It was.
There have been better. Grand Slam is this week. I am looking forward to Grand Slam. It's going to
is good.
It's going to be a different show. I can tell you that much. It's going to be a different show from last year. I was there last year. I really enjoyed the show. I hated the venue, and I hated the way that the venue didn't know what to do with wrestling, but I digress.
Well, I'm not there and I'll never be there. So
if I go, it'll be very last minute. I don't think I'm going. Let's run down the card real quick. In the finals for the vacant AEW World Championship match, it's Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. Who you got? Who do you think is going to win between Moxley and Danielson?
Danielson, I think. You know what? I think Danielson is the real CM Punk. Like
there's been a story, not a story, but like someone noticed that when Punk left Ring of Honor in 2005, Danielson won the Ring of Honor title. When Punk left WWE in 2012, Bryan Danielson won the world title. When Punk left AEW in 2022, maybe Bryan Danielson wins the world title.
Man, I get this feeling that Bryan Danielson is who Punk thinks he is. Like, and Bryan Danielson is just living it rather than just being all, in his own head. So
I would love to do a Danielson wins, gets all the pomp and circumstance, and then out comes the firm. They beat down Bryan Danielson, and then out comes MJF, and he's just like, cashing in, bitches. And then he wins the title, and we go off the air being like, here we go.
Yeah, that sounds fun to me.
And again, people are just like, well, that's not how the chip works. But it is, because guess what? The chip is I can cash in at any time for a world title shot. That's what MJF said. No one said that it has to be in advance. No one said that it has to be at a certain time. It's whenever you want. And I'm fine with that heat. It would be fun. And then you do Danielson versus MJF going into Full Gear. Could be fun. We'll see. Let's move on. Swerve in Our Glory takes on The Acclaim. Rematch from All Out. What are we doing?
It's because the match was good. So they're just like, good enough. Keep it up. Sell more t-shirts.
I'm wondering, The Acclaimed are probably going to win their hometown. They were big at the Chicago show. People love them. It's maybe their time. And then you do the Swerve turn, effectively cement him as a heel, have Keith Lee go on his merry way as a singles competitor. It might work. I'm fine with it. The Acclaimed could get a big pop from that crowd, winning in their home turf and moving on with the AEW World Tag Team titles. What happens after that? Can't do FTR, because FTR, unless they turn, are faces, and a face Acclaimed FTR match feels weird to me. And I don't agree that they should have won it all out, by the way, because we wouldn't be talking about it like this if they had. And I think people are building their anticipation for a big moment in Arthur Ashe. That's why I think it's fine. You don't just call an audible just because the fans are cheering. That's wrestling, by the way. Like,
that also might
building a moment.
That could, I don't know, man. That would piss me off if I was Keith Lee and Swerve. So like, that's a good way to start some locker room strife if you want to just really mess with. Like, they're human beings and there was a plan. Like, you don't just.
Yeah, fans are cheering for this guy more, so give them the title.
It's like, woof. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do some weird stuff without consulting you first, because I have to sway the fans. Like,
yeah, very, very strange. I get that TK is very much all about fan engagement, but like fan service, not this case.
Oh man, no. If you did that, like as a wrestler, that would be like a green light for me to do whatever I want without talking it, including like things that are not going to be okay with censors. So
exactly. For the women's interim world championship, Toni Storm, Serena Deeb, Athena, Britt Baker. Toni Storm's probably going to win. Or do you have an interim world champion change hands?
I don't know. This is the same match, just with Serena Deeb, isn't it?
Serena Deeb was in the tag match, wasn't she?
Yeah, this is.
It's just silly because, again,
it wasn't a good tag match. I don't think this is going to be a good one-on-one match or a four-way match. Like, we just did a four-way. What are we doing?
I don't know. I this was very much thrown together, and I don't.
Storm keeps it. Yeah, this is the 9:30 of booking. So
yeah, and it's just very. We don't need to talk about their women's division more than we already have. It's just so weird. Pac versus Orange Cassidy for the All Atlantic Championship. Going to be a good match. Going to be a fun match. People are going to love Orange Cassidy in New York, as they always do. Pac wins.
Yes.
Looking forward to Ethan Page versus Pac in Toronto in October.
Very good. That.
And you know what? Don't even do it at Dynamite or Rampage. Do it at Greektown Wrestling that Saturday night.
Yeah, that would be fine. I'd be down with that.
Do it then, and then let me interview Pac and let me interview Ethan Page. Come on, guys. What are we doing here? Do you see who's on that show, by the way?
The one before Dynamite, or this?
No, the Greektown show in October. We'll be there, by the way, as we always are.
Yeah, I think I have then. That's fine.
Going back to the church basement.
I appreciate. Looking forward to that.
So excited for that.
We can talk to Brian Pillman, maybe.
I wonder if Brian Pillman Jr. will want to talk to me. We'll find out. For the Ring of Honor World Championship, oh my God, Claudio Castagnoli.
That one on the reel.
Christopher Irvine Jericho, Chris Jericho, and Claudio for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Claudio wins, but what kind of BCC versus JAS shenanigans are going to go down? Is it going to, I think Danny Garcia got involved because he's the pure champion. They'll do a whole like Jericho's about to cheat, and then Danny's going to be like, no, that's not how things work in Ring of Honor. We shake hands and show respect here.
Yeah.
No, Daddy, no. I think that's basically what we're getting.
So the same thing we've been seeing for weeks. Whatever. It's one less opportunity for Jericho to scream at me on commentary. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Claudio winning, and then Danny Garcia having gotten involved and stopped whatever Jericho was going to do. Claudio shakes Danny Garcia's hands. That's another Blackpool Combat Club member who has shaken, not stirred, Danny Garcia's hand. So that's Dynamite. Plus they're doing.
You want to make this interesting and special? Just have Chris Jericho beat the piss out of Danny Garcia at the end of the match after he loses. Like, just get it over. Just finish this.
Imagine CJ winning the Ring of Honor championship.
No, he's not winning. Like, no. CJ loses and then beats the piss out of Danny. Like,
they could do it. I mean, depending on where it is on the card.
I think it's happening. Like, I straight up think that's what's going down. So
you think it main events the show?
No.
Jericho's from New York. From Manhasset.
It's not the main event.
Should be the main event on Rampage, to be perfectly honest.
That's fine. Main event.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
I get that the main event's probably Danielson Moxley, but at the same time, remember this time it makes sense. Just the World Championship opened up Grand Slam last year, and then they did Baker and Soho last year as the main event. Anyway, and then Rampage, they're gonna do Action Bronson and Hook versus Daddy Magic, Matt Menard, and Cool Hand Angelo Parker.
Action Bronson looks different from the last time I saw him because I know him from music. And I was like, oh, that is that. Okay, yeah, cool.
It's good stuff.
Because he does Hook's theme. Yeah, that's a hymn tune. So
okay, fine, whatever. Danielson and Omega had a match. I don't give a shit. It was a 30-minute draw. Wasn't it a world title match? I don't know. I was there.
I don't remember.
They had a match. It was fine. Sting and Darby Allin are taking on the House of Black in the never-ending feud of the House of Black. No.
Darby Allin rode a big wheel and he wrestled
tried to eat
Matt Hardy for no reason. Love all of this.
Julia Hart is really the winner here because she just has to show up and look like she's the new leader of House of Black. Good for her.
So young too for that.
No disqualification tag team match. So what big thing is Sting going to jump off of?
I don't know. Something that again isn't very big, and he's so well protected. It looks kind of silly.
Well, all right then. That's fine with me. I'm looking at something. I need to check something. It was Omega and Danielson. Sorry, with the time limit draw. Wasn't that what I said?
Minutes.
30 minutes. I did say Omega and Danielson. It just wasn't the title match.
It just wasn't the title.
Yeah, whatever. Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara are finally having their match. I'm looking forward to that. I got this work their shit outs.
It's just
remember on this show, well before the whole locker room shit came out about them having a fight, I was like, Sammy accepted that. Eddie accepted that challenge on Rampage weeks ago.
Yeah,
and they just haven't done anything with that. They haven't shown it. I wonder if that match is still happening at All Out. And everyone's like, it's still happening. It's still happening. Don't worry about it. It's still happening. And I'm just like, is it though? Anyway, it's happening in Rampage.
Yeah, because I think they just went, better just squash this beef.
They're fine.
I guess you're not so fat after all, Eddie Kingston.
Exactly. We got to start getting out of here. I think Eddie's going to win. Golden Ticket Battle Royale. I put Mox in it because it'll be on Rampage. It'll be days later. Have Mox win the Golden Ticket Battle Royale, and then he's like, I have a Golden Ticket too, MJF. Jade Cargill takes on Diamante. Diamante is bringing Trina from the 305. I don't know who Trina is, by the way, but I'm very heavily told it's her. Ray Phoenix takes on Jungle Boy for some reason. I'm sure it'll be a fine match. I just
Jungle Boy just keeps having meaningless matches is all I see.
Open contracts. Powerhouse Hobbs takes on Ricky Starks. That's going to be a good match.
Yes,
I'm looking forward to that again. Yeah. Rematch from All Out. And then Wardlow and Samoa Joe, for some reason, are teaming up to take on Tony Nese and Josh Woods. Wardlow could have had a TNT title match, but we're not going to do that. So instead, Wardlow and Mimosa Joe, Ragosa Joe, Samosa Joe, Samoa Joe take on Nese and Woods. That's how I feel. I think that's it. I got to get out of here. So do you. I'll be on Wrestling Observer Live at 6 p.m. Go check that out over on the Wrestling Observer website, wherever they post it. Andrew Zarian will tell you. I'm sure they will.
Do better.
No, that's fine. I know where I am. I know where you are. So why don't you tell the people who you are and what you do?
My name is Tim Stone P. You can find me at TIMBSTONEB, Twitter and Instagram.
Show is Tim and Joel Call in the Ring. We're here every Sunday at noon Eastern here on the show on Fightful Overbooked, where we drop content every single day. Some days better than others. I am at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. Tim, go pick up your kid. We'll see you next time. Cheers.